No, they just asking for me. You stay in there. Here, take my phone.
BlueFace, walk back with their hands up. Walk back with their hands up. We'll figure this out in a second. Just walk back, walk back, walk back, walk back, walk back.
So, BlueFace was arrested by the police after an unidentified individual allegedly called the cops on him. Luckily, his latest baby mama Nevaeh and her newborn were safely evacuated from the scene, while BlueFace was taken into custody as authorities investigated the situation. Well, it ended up being a swatting incident, but guess who people are suspecting made the call? Yep, Chrisean Rock. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if BlueFace made the call himself to stage this entire arrest, but let's just get into it, and why people think it was Chrisean. Apparently, while BlueFace was hosting a live stream on Kick, law enforcement received an anonymous call, and the caller falsely claimed that BlueFace had unalived his girlfriend and tied up her baby. The deputies responded to the residence under the assumption that a felony was in progress, and they temporarily detained BlueFace and everyone inside while clearing the property to secure the scene and evacuate his girlfriend. But like I said, this ended up being a swatting incident, and BlueFace was released soon after the arrest.
What the fuck is happening?
Dirty ass, nigga. We'll talk in a second.
But can we talk about how absolutely wild and downright terrifying that whole scene was for Nevaeh? This girl literally just gave birth. We are talking about a fresh, newborn baby, days old, and she's out here navigating a full-on police raid? And the part that had everybody holding their breath was when the cops ordered her to walk backward toward them while holding that tiny baby. Are you kidding me? What if she tripped over something on the floor? One wrong step from exhaustion or pure panic, and that infant could have been hurt. Also, let's be real for a second. Why is it always like this with BlueFace? I mean, it feels like every single woman who gets involved with him eventually gets dragged into some high-risk, chaotic, law enforcement-level drama. Whether it's public brawls like the recent fight Chrisean was involved in, online leaks, or now getting swatted with a brand new baby in Nevaeh's arms, the common denominator is always the mess he invites into his house. Well, this isn't even a one-time random accident, and it's becoming a regular routine in that household. See, just a couple weeks ago, when Nevaeh was still heavily pregnant, the cops were already pulling up to the house during a stream after an incident in the pool where Blue practically kicked her into the pool. And who was sitting right there taking it all in? Nevaeh's older son. That little boy was literally watching law enforcement roam around his home and talking about the police being there like it was just another average Tuesday afternoon. By the way, there was also another swatting incident where the cops were called, and once again, Nevaeh's boy was present, and he was actually really worried.
Mom, look, the police are right there.
I don't know.
Feet are hot.
Stay calm.
Shit, my feet are hot. God damn. My name's Jonathan. Can you tell me what this is?
Honestly, when a kid that young is so desensitized to police presence, raised voice arguments, and constant internet drama that he just casually chats about it, you have to ask, what kind of environment is BlueFace creating for these kids? A home is supposed to be a safe haven, especially for young kids and newborns who need peace, routine, and stability. Instead, these kids are growing up in a high-stress, 24/7 reality show set where cops show up, adults are constantly in conflict, and everything gets broadcast live to thousands of strangers online. Like, how is a kid supposed to feel secure when their everyday reality includes sirens, searchlights, and constant tension? Is clout and stream content really worth robbing these kids of a normal, peaceful childhood? At what point does somebody step up and put those babies' well-being over the views? And it's like this with all the kids around him, by the way. Remember when he was arrested while in the car with Chrisean and baby Chrisean Jr. right there in the mix? It's literally a repeated pattern. Different woman, different baby, exact same traumatizing outcome. Every single woman who enters his life eventually finds herself, her home, and her babies caught in the middle of police raids, warrants, court hearings, or wild internet-fueled chaos. But how many more scary encounters is it going to take before somebody puts a stop to the madness? Are these women ever going to realize that the clout, the views, and the toxicity are not worth putting their babies in harm's way? Or is this cycle just going to keep repeating with the next girl? Anyway, there are people who are convinced that Chrisean was the one who made made the recent call to the police. Of course, y'all know that BlueFace and Chrisean have a long, documented history of public altercations, physical fights, and law enforcement involvement. And because their past disputes frequently played out on live streams and social media, viewers automatically assumed Chrisean called the police to disrupt his stream and cause trouble. I mean, this would make sense considering everything that has happened these last few days. For instance, just a few days ago, a viral street fight incident involving Chrisean Rock hit our timelines, and alternate camera angles caught Chrisean aggressively dragging the woman, linked to Nevaeh Akira, out into the pavement and mercilessly going to work on her, leaving fans horrified as the crowd screamed warnings about pregnancy. Because the girl was linked to Nevaeh, there were allegations that the altercation was a setup by Nevaeh where she was supposed to take a few hits on camera, let Chrisean crash out, and collect the payout. And by pulling her into the street, Chrisean played right into their hand. And there are already rumors that she has lost a massive, multi-million-dollar bag she was slated to secure as she tried to transition into legitimate, high-profile celebrity boxing. Let's also not forget that Nevaeh was on a live stream kicking it with BlueFace, and out of nowhere, she threw the ultimate low blow at Chrisean. Like she looked right at the camera and said, "Shout out to the baby disabler."
Shout out to Chrisean for the 50 gifted. Appreciate that 50 gifted. Shout out to Chrisean for the 50 gifted.
Shout out to the baby disabler.
So, it's possible that Chrisean called the cops on Blue when he was with Nevaeh for revenge. But here's the other thing. People immediately flagged the situation as staged, noting that responding officers used his stage name, BlueFace, rather than his legal name, Jonathan Porter. Now, in standard protocol, law enforcement officers identify suspects by legal names during high-risk felony responses. So, because they were calling him BlueFace, a lot of people concluded that the incident was staged. Plus, in the streaming world, swatting or extreme drama drives massive viewer spikes, GIFs, and viral clips, leading many to suspect it was a stunt orchestrated for clout. Also, shortly after the heavy police response, BlueFace was released without any formal charges or booking once deputies verified the residence was safe. Basically, the rapid transition from being held to walking free added to the perception that it was all an act. Regardless, whether this was an outside prankster doing a malicious swatting call, Chrisean orchestrating drama from behind the scenes, or BlueFace himself milking the internet for views, the bottom line remains the same. It is all just deeply, completely messed up. At the end of the day, the real people being affected here aren't the streamers or the clout chasers. The ones paying the ultimate price are those innocent kids. A days-old newborn getting evacuated in the middle of an armed police response, and a young boy living in constant fear and anxiety, worrying if his parent or step-parent is about to be dragged off in handcuffs, is not content. That is real-life trauma being accumulated in real time. And until the adults in this situation put down the live streams, log off Kick, and start putting the safety and mental well-being of their kids above internet views and petty feuds, this toxic cycle is just going to keep repeating itself. These babies deserve a peaceful, secure home, not a set for dangerous online spectacle. It's honestly really super sad, but let me know what you think of this recent arrest and whether you believe Chrisean was involved in the comments section below.